He says, "Im nofel zvuv kedem l'tech ma'achal mashke." If a fly came into a cup of mashke, a cup of wine, whatever it is, so he says, "Lo yoseh es zvuv levadai." You can't just take out the fly, but that would be bite of psilis mitech ha'echel, like we learned already yesterday. Elo yikach gam ketzas me'amaychel. You should take also a little of the Michael with it, oy me'amashke, v'yizvik imay. In other words, according to what it says over here, you could, let's say, put in a spoon, and in the spoon fetch up the little mashke where the fly is, and throw it out. And that according to the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, is not by the psilis. You're taking out the fly. No, you're taking out food. You're taking out food, so it's considered by the eichel mitech psilis. Even though while doing this, you take out also the fly. Now this din is also brought out the Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. It's Sim Shin Yates. The Rebbe says over here, Im nofa zvuvim l'kais, if Goyotzi hazvuvim levadon min hakais, sherei zeh kebayre psilis mitoicha oichel she'osa. Afil kedei lechel miyad, you're not allowed to do it. We learned that there's the difference between bayre oichel mitoicha psilis or bayre psilis mitoicha oichel. So what should you do? So he says, Elo yikach gam min hamashke ketzasi moam. In other words, the phrase what it says in the Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, right? Take a little, take a little bit of the mashke together with it. She'oz eine nire kebayre chal. It doesn't look at all as bayre. How much food do you have in the spoon? How much could you have? And the fly, and we say that's not considered like bayre. Commercial is bayre l'mayla. So, you know when you learn the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, we physically always like according to the Alter Rebbe and Shulchan Aruch. So that's what you have to do, and it's a common thing. If there could be a fly that's flying around, sometimes gets stuck in the mashke. It doesn't talk over here about a chilik. There's a chilik really if the fly dies in the mashke, drowns in the mashke, or the fly is alive. Because it could be a shaila of tzod. When when the fly is alive, you're taking it could be a shaila of tzod. So everything seems to be very simple. However, give me that siddur, the big siddur, the small siddur up there. However, we showed you already a few times that there's halachas of Shabbos where the Alter Rebbe is machmer. So this is one of such cases. Now listen over here. Here it is. Listen what the Alter Rebbe says in the Siddur. He says as follows: Shaloi lismach ala heta hanog. Don't rely on the accepted heta. Be'im nafos vuv oishar b'saylis l'toich oilakaira. If something fell into a cup or into a dish, loitziyai ayidei kaf. Take it out with a spoon. V'lishev k'tzas me'amashke imay, and to take a little bit, mamash raket the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch he paskins that you could do it, and then he said don't rely on that. And he says why? Ki yesh bozeh chashash chriyav chatas ve'iser skila chas v'shalom. So what aids did he have according to Alter Rebbe? So the Rebbe says further, the ain't akona. The eitzah is rak lishpoich me'akais ad sheyetze hapsoilus mitoichay. Take the cup and turn the cup, and melet the charezken, if you turn it, to go out. Together with that, eventually the whatever fluid will go out together. Now, Now, he goes on to explain it. B'loi yenapach olav beruach. You shouldn't try to blow it out. In other words, you hold the cup, and you stand and you blow, keep blowing, until you blow out the pshaylos, till you blow out the cup. Why not? He doesn't say over here. But
he wants to put an axe to the edge, so that as soon as he's
that he says, but he doesn't say why you can't blow it out. So the answer is, that's how I understand it. You remember I explained when we started learning dosh. So I explained how they make the flour. So I said that they take the flour and they take the kernel and they knock it out of the bag. After you knock it out of the bag, I said they throw it up, and that's called in Yiddish. It's called windschaffeln. In halacha, it's called zoyre. To get the air to blow out the chaff, to separate it from the kernel, that's called zoyre. So this is similar to zoyre. If you blow on it to get it out, it's like you're creating a wind to get it out. That's for some of the reasons why not. So he said, but what you could do is, he says, Avo muta l'napeyach olav l'hakriv l'doifen hakais. You know, you could blow on it, and it's still inside. To blow it out, you can't, because then you're taking out the psilus. But you could blow on it to bring it up to the edge of the cup, and b'mela, when you pour, you wouldn't have to pour much. You'll give it one little pour, and it'll come out. Now, and he goes on to say further, V'oz yateyu. Once he blew on it and he got it to the end of the cup, then you turn the cup, v'lishbrak mimenu, and to pour out from it, ad sheyipol hapsaylos mitaychay, till the psilus will also come out. So he goes on to say, shekivan shenefilas hapsaylos l'chutz, who are yidei? Now he's explaining his reasoning. And listen, you have to understand this reason of him. He said, being that the way you got rid of the psilus is by holding the cup in your hand, right? And then later, not only hold the cup in the can, im hamashke, the cup has the liquid in it, shebetaychay, umateyo b'yadai, and you're turning it with your hand, harei zeh nikra bayra eichel mitoich apsilus umuta. So this is called, being that you're holding the cup, he says, and you're turning it with your hand, that's called bayra psilus, that's called bayra eichel mitoich apsilus. 1 minute. Umuta kedei lishtes miyad, and if you want to drink it right away, you're allowed to do that. Okay. And b'chein im nofal l'kaida sheyesh b'reitiv, if it fell into a soup, so you do the same thing. You pick up the plate and you turn the plate to the side, and b'meila, not to put in the spoon and take it out like he says in Shulchan Aruch, but the question is, why is this called, with this whole hezbollah that he says, why is this called Baira?
Because you're holding on to the edge.
Huh?
You're holding on to the edge.
So there's a Tzemach Tzedek in the Piskei Dina for the Tzemach Tzedek on this thing over here, that he talks about what the Rebbe, the psak of his grandfather, and he says over here, Ava Lufi Mashkasa B'Siddur, Tzarech Leima, She'ein Anidan Daim Mash'en Ken Hocha, She'nishbach HaZvuv Im HaMashke, Nika She'bayra HaPsayvus. He's holding it. You see what do you see when he's holding it and he's pouring? You see he's pouring the wine. You don't see he's taking the zvuv. When he puts in a spoon to catch the zvuv, how much goes into the spoon? So it's nika that he's taking the zvuv, and that's called bayra psayvus psayvus. But when he's pouring the mashka out, so what you see coming out, you see the mashka coming out, because after that the zvuv remains inside. The zvuv remains inside, so that's bayra oichel. We take up psayvus. because you took out the wine and this remained inside.
But if you put it to the end, it's going to pour out right away.
But that's already by the end of it already. But when you're pouring, you're pouring wine.
So what are you meant to do now, Taka? If this fly goes in,
That's what
you
you're
pour
supposed
out the
to
whole
do.
cup of wine into another cup?
No, you could pour it till it falls out.
And even though it's at the end, then it's going to
You
come
pour
out
it
right
till it goes out.
Well, what do you do? What happens if one person says it's a
What do you-
shayla
what are you
skill
doing?
and the other
So
one-
he says at the end that there's some people that are even machmer in this thing that the Alter Rebbe says, but he says at the end, Kosovo hachma, av gam ba'ofen shehit adoni of zakeni b'siddur, v'chein therefore al kaponim ein lahalko yosem in mashikosa b'siddur.
What do you do if it's on a solid piece?
And not to do what it says in the Shulchan Aruch.
What happens if it fell onto something that doesn't going to go off like that easily?
That becomes a different question about separating like the fat that's on top of that we'll learn about separately.
What do you do when you have a machlokes approach? The Alter Rebbe holds one way, and
We go according to the Siddur.
we go according to the Siddur.
Yeah. And then someone tzedek says follow the Siddur.
So what happens if someone else is not as learned?
What?
Someone else is not as learned.
Not as learned.
Yes,
Let him start.
Go back to yeshiva.
Let him start to learn.
Go back to